Hey, we're live. Look at that. Only a couple minutes late. That was my fault, people. Don't blame that guy over there. Wasn't his fault this time. That was on me. But hey, we're here. It is slightly past 9 o'clock on the East Coast on a Thursday. That means it's time for This Week at Gear Report, the show where we sometimes talk about recently published articles, upcoming articles on Gear Report, and then the infamous crowd-pleasing, what's it called? The shit shooting segment. Yeah, we do lots of that. So in the house today, we have Gun Websites. G-Webs is here with us live and in the flesh. We're going to talk about SHOT Show, and he is one of the more experienced SHOT Show veterans that we have run across. So we invited him here so we can dig into all things SHOT Show related. And if you were here last week, you saw the discussion with Aegis Gun Care. So Rod is there saying hi. If you came here expecting to see our friend Steve from Medieval Industries, then I am sad to report that he had to cancel because he is not feeling well, and said he wasn't going to be up to doing the show tonight. I said, you know what? You better get some rest because it's about to get crazy and you're going to need all that energy. So he agreed and he went to go do that. So as usual, here at This Week at Gear Report, we would like to ask a few things. Number one, this is an interactive program by design. You have comments there, whether you're on Facebook through one of the different places there, whether you are on the Gear Report channel there on the YouTubes. However you happen. Oh my goodness, it's a full house tonight. Look at that. AJ is with us as well. So regardless of where you are, we don't know you're there unless you say something. This is something you're not going to hear me say very often. Be like Crystal. Okay. Crystal just made a comment to let us know she was there. She said hello. She is an excellent role model in every sense of the word. Be like Crystal. Leave us some comments. Let us know you're there. Let us know what you'd like to hear about, what you'd like to talk about, and we will we'll dive into the show. So real quick, hold on. Let's go that way and then down. So we'll do TJ, AJ, and then we'll let G-Web say hi. Intros, please. Hi, I'm Jeff.
Just me again, TJ, the sidekick or co-host sometimes. I was almost going to be the host.
I thought you were going to be the host. Yeah.
another minute, you'd have been done.
I was downstairs custom fitting a box to a Marshall guitar amplifier that sold on Reverb to get it shipped out tomorrow.
Nice.
And I'm like, why does my phone keep beeping at me? I was like, oh, that's a 10-minute warning. With 10-minute warning, I still had to go find my laptop, get up to the office, get the lights turned on, get the computer set up. Yeah, it was.
I'm gonna start texting you like 20 minutes till.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'm not blaming you for me being late, TJ. Don't take it that way.
I kind of feel like it's partially my fault for not getting you going earlier.
Is there a reason that you're called 720p TJ today?
I'm using the actual computer camera today.
I see.
And that's as high res as I can get out of it.
Yeah.
I think you're doing better than me. I think I'm still at 480.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Well, that's just being more efficient, I think. You're getting your image across with less pixels. That's efficiency. Yeah. I respect that.
My name's AJ. I run the Hummer Mods channel, and I do gear reviews for the military Humvee.
And some firearm stuff, too.
And some firearm stuff. Yep.
Yeah. All right.
I want to get more into the firearm stuff. We'll see what happens at SHOT Show.
Yeah. So that's a good segue to talk about, why the three of us are here. The three of us are the Gear Report team for SHOT Show 2022. We will all be there shaking the trees, looking for cool new products, other things to report on and bring back to you guys. So definitely throughout the show tonight, throughout the show next week while we're at SHOT Show, send us notes. If you see or hear of anything that looks interesting that you'd like us to go check out, let us know what those things are so we can go take a look at them. And boy, I don't even know where to start. Where to start with G-Webs? G-Webs has one of the most expansive multimedia empires in this industry, I think. So, would you like to give us a taste, a bit of the G-Webs flavor? Let us know what you're about.
Right on. I think you hyped it up too much, but yeah, I've just been doing stuff for a long time now, and I enjoy the internet. I enjoy checking out the new things that we get available to us, tools and services, and keeping the conversation about firearms and what the Second Amendment protects. Kind of innovating onto, or on those new platforms as they show up. Does that make sense? Like I like to be jump on these new ones, just the gun stuff.
Yeah, I saw that you. I saw on your Patreon that you had a. Oh, which reminds me, I should get the ticker going here. Where is it? There we go. So we can recognize Rifle Optics for sponsoring the show, and also give a link to our Patreon, which I always forget to talk about. I saw on the Gun Website's Patreon that you have been invited to the beta for Odyssey. Is that correct? So you can do live broadcast on that platform.
Yeah, I have no idea how that happened, but I figured I'd take a screenshot when it showed up in case anybody's interested in doing it. I know that there's been a lot of concern, or you know how there is. You've been on YouTube for a while. There are people that feel that they're persecuted, want to find other platforms for live streaming, and there's fewer and fewer options. And Odyssey's been an interesting one to upload to. It uses kind of a point system where you have to do things. You have to participate on the platform in order to get points to upload. I guess you could probably pay for points. I'm not really sure. I don't do that. So Odyssey just showed that to me as I was posting something, and I took a screenshot. But I don't know if I doubt its activity. I don't really use Odyssey very much. Is Gear Report on Odyssey?
Yeah. So what we use Odyssey for at Gear Report is really just another. It's kind of like a backup distribution channel for us. So. The bulk of what we do is centered around publishing to YouTube, which honestly is just out of convenience. A number of different platforms have hooks into YouTube so that they can monitor as you publish things. And, as we publish, they grab them and put copies on their platform. So if you go to Odyssey and look for the Gear Report channel there, you will see all of our live stuff, as well as some other things, edited and published videos. But lately it's been mostly live stuff where once it hits on YouTube, the next night when Odyssey runs their batch, they pull it over and spawn a new copy for us.
Are you getting views over there, or is it just to have an alternative place to
are we getting views? Are you kidding me? We have 25 whole followers over on Odyssey. Yeah, and I'm not even sure where.
Well, that's pretty good. Odyssey isn't a general purpose platform. It's pretty much politics, right? So I would say that's pretty good.
We've had 8 views this week. Oh, it's a big week. We've had 523 views total on Odyssey in the time that we have been replicating our YouTube content auto-magically in the background on their platform. So
yeah, I don't put anything. I don't have it happen automatically. I probably have like 4 videos over there, 5, maybe 7, I think, because the last 2 I posted are just in the last week or 2, just because I decided to push some stuff over there, and they haven't gotten a view in a week. So my other videos have like 5 or 4 views, single-digit views.
Yeah, I'm trying to see here.
That's why I say having 25 followers. I mean, I think we have 4. So it's a platform for people that want to follow the people that have been kicked off the other platforms for politics, and you're just going to see the residuals over there. But none of these platforms are a light switch where, hey, here's YouTube one day and the other platform tomorrow. So having placeholders there and monitoring them is worth something. I don't know.
We've been on there for 8 months and have 552 uploads. So that means some of them have not gotten any views and some of them have gotten a few. Their analytics isn't really robust.
That's one of the issues with them too, for trying to monitor, is when these platforms are new, they don't have any analytics if they live in Gettysburg, get them.
Yeah, as I'm scrolling, I'm seeing a couple that have, oh, there's one that has 33 views. It's a short that got pulled over from YouTube, which is something we've been playing with, is the shorts format. That's something I want to talk about when we get into the SHOT Show discussion. I'd like to pick your brain on what kind of edited video versus live video versus written published content. You know, what your output for SHOT Show, what you think that's going to be. Because, you know, for us, it changes every time we go to SHOT Show. I think TJ typically campaigns for a really full schedule of meetings, day after day after day after day, and I'm trying to be a little bit more casual and just kind of wander around and look for stuff.
Yeah, that was, we can't do that. Meetings every 30 minutes, Jeff. I put some on the calendar today, right before the show.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. I'm
gonna book this up for about 3 hours.
I was telling my wife a little while ago that I think I've only scheduled 2 meetings. I think. Josiah called me today asking about were we going to go meet with Palmetto. So we booked something for Tuesday morning to go to the Palmetto State Armory booth, and we'll see them at range day. This is the first time they're going to be at the range, so we'll get some B-roll there, and then we'll go chat with them. We'll go in their little filming room and get the jump on some of their new product release stuff, and I think that's something we'll have to talk about how we want to do it. But I think I do want to get some booth video for a few brands this year, but I'm really torn on how much, because that's like really low-hanging fruit content, in my opinion, that we can hop in, even if we do like a little handheld gimbal camera or something, and knock out a video pretty quickly with very limited editing and have something we can publish that may have some timely information that people are looking for, you know, from an audience perspective. But man, it gets old carrying all the camera stuff around and setting up and shooting videos and dealing with crowds. And I mean, since we have one of the what would we say, one of the originators of that format here, what are you planning on doing this year, Pete?
Well, for anybody that's not familiar, I've been going to SHOT since 2005. I figured out you could go to SHOT Show as media. So we started right away in 2005, and right away as with websites, and right away they were resistant. So it's been a crazy adventure every single year. It's been a little bit different. I really enjoy the show, and I have evolved my scope or something, you know, just going, can you imagine going to something over and over and over for 16 years? Like, you're just going to go nuts if you try to do the same thing, right? And I definitely like to experiment and try different things and push boundaries and try a different path, right? So I've done the pictures, as you were describing the options there. We started with pictures. You had no choice. We've done video and then streaming. I've never done the fancy elaborate cameras. I mean, the most elaborate we've done is an HD camera, kind of early, but that's, you know, in phones. I really like phones. As far as I don't think there's anything the best. As you're kind of getting to me, I was thinking, I think the worst thing is when you want to have a lot of appointments and you don't have them, and that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you want to get in there and have appointments, because some years that's just their mindset, right? You just want to try it. And sometimes I think you got to have a bunch of appointments successfully and unsuccessfully to be able to get done doing appointments, like get past the appointments thing. And I mean, some people dig them. I totally get the appointments thing. Now, when you don't have appointments and you need to make it worth your while, that's frustrating. So the worst thing I think about SHOT Show is to be in a circumstance where it's uncomfortable. You need something out of it, or you've got too much to do, or you just don't have any place to start. Those are the worst. But I've had so many experiences there that for the most part, I think your concept of going in with a couple of things to do and some objectives is the way to go, so that you're not setting yourself up to fail, and you're not setting yourself up to where if an opportunity comes along, you're not bound, because that's the worst. When you have a bunch of appointments, even if you're doing well, when something comes up that you couldn't schedule, and now you're scheduled tight, you can't do it. That's frustrating. And when you're loose and nothing comes up, then you feel like you wasted shot potentially. You spend 4 days not doing nothing, and then you're like, wait a minute, I didn't do nothing for 4 days. This is a total waste of SHOT Show. All you hear is about all the adventures everybody else was on.
Yeah.
What do you predict will be the most fruitful type of media to be producing at SHOT Show, whether it be pictures, longer videos, maybe videos under a minute? What are your opinions on that?
That's a great question. You know what? I think, wow, I think you can succeed with anything. I know you can succeed with anything. I mean, you could succeed with long format stuff. Give me, the challenge of going in there with 3-hour videos, and I'll figure out a way to make that happen, because there could be some neat things you could have long conversations with. But I think when you mentioned there, those short videos accompanying pictures, I think that's probably the win in 1-2 at this point, because I was going to ask you guys some questions. I've gone with gun websites as our gun side, and then we have gear websites as our gear side, and we have 2 channels on YouTube, and I separated them a long time ago, not because of the analytics or anything, just because of interest. Some people don't like guns, and some people only like guns, and they just are not interested in backpacks or something. So we've gone to SHOT to do both. We've gone to SHOT with teams where some people do exclusive. We've done to SHOT where everybody covered both and that kind of thing. So I was going to ask you guys some questions about the gear side, how competitive that is anymore, because personally, my experience with the gear side was back in the forum days, way before YouTube, and it was a bunch of pictures, photographs, and people appreciated those a lot, because you can look at a photograph, zoom in, and we had bad cameras back then. Like the cameras nowadays would be awesome, and it wouldn't be anywhere near as difficult. When we would upload a bad photograph, it would take a long time in the hotels back in the days. Like now you can go click, 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 and it's on Instagram. Unfortunately, you got everybody competing with that, right? So maybe it's a bit more of like your experience and your contacts to know what to take pictures of or when, first, and that kind of thing. But I personally think to answer that one, although everything could be good, I bet you this year and just in 2022, especially because we can talk about it, SHOT Show is going to be different for everybody this year, and it's going to be different for everybody the first time in 12 years, because they changed the floor plan. So nobody, not even the people that run the place, are going to know where everybody is anymore. The only people that know where anybody is are the people setting it up this weekend. So it's going to be a chaotic SHOT Show that we've never seen in 12 years. And we were talking about this in another chat. It's been 12 years since people are used to a chaotic SHOT Show. We're used to a pretty standard SHOT Show. So it's going to be pretty crazy. And because of that, it's a tough question to answer, because of all the chaos, I'll bet you there's going to be a lack of decent, highly edited, good videos. And I'll bet you somebody could come in and jump on that. But on the other hand, just better odds, short videos, shorts, just quick stuff like Jeff was saying, booth tours, and, quick, here's the important thing about the new product, not everything about the new product, followed up by tons of pictures in the blogs. I would think that's the sweet spot, because people have time to read when they're making a purchase decision, when they're actually interested in something. Like, what's the difference between these 2 shovels or something? Like, a video might tell you, but they're probably not. You're not zooming in on a video to see the details of the finger grooves or the stippling or the rivets or something. So, and I think that's the easiest to accomplish. You could do all that with a phone and a team. Well, shut up. You're going to have to shut me up. I'll talk about SHOT Show forever. I've done multiple 3-hour shows this week just reminiscing on SHOT Show. It's really one of my favorite things to do all year.
That's some great input. It's a lot for me to think about when I'm at SHOT Show. What type of multimedia I need to be producing?
Don't double think anything. Whatever y'all do, you're going to succeed, because this year is going to be a unique year. No one's going to master it this year. Nobody who has been mastering SHOT Show can master it more than 2 years in a row, because it changes too much underneath of them. Yeah. And whatever they master, good luck, because it's now different 3 years later. So there's always that factor. The people that try to master it are not competing with you. Those people are doing different things. So whatever you do is going to be of value. And I mean, everything's quality nowadays. So the worst that'll happen is somebody will come by and make a big noise while you're video recording or something.
Are you going to try to do anything live?
Me? Yeah,
Whether it be
I'll play
during
around.
the show at range day, during the show at the Sands and Caesars, or in the evening? Like, are you going to do any broadcast live during the week, or?
Right now, I don't have a planned show. Like, I don't have a daily show anymore. I used to. I'm going to get that rolling, but I didn't try to get it going before the SHOT Show or anything. So I'll do Target's opportunity. I'll jump into people's chats depending on how my phone works. I bring a hotspot and my 2 phones. If somebody else has Wi-Fi and they can jump me over, whatever I can do to get online. If we can figure out something, like I just found that Odyssey thing. I wasn't looking for that, but I found it. I never even thought about it. I think Rumbler is the one that has a live stream now. So, maybe try some of those. The problem is I really don't like putting that stuff on my phone. So I play it by ear. I usually go, and since I've been going for a while, I can get what I need accomplished while I'm walking down the aisle. I can take a pause and take a picture to meet the people I want to meet. We don't chat at SHOT Show. We say hey and keep moving, just catch up. So I usually try to support the new folks or people that are doing other projects or people that need a hand. There's like DC Project. There's like some good nonprofits this year that are doing awesome work. So if I can help them, right, then I get whatever I need out of SHOT Show between that. So if I see like, oh, I'm going to need to be here for 45 minutes until I can do something. Is there a hotspot here? Like, can I go live? Is it, unfortunately SHOT, I don't get to play with, can I go live in the middle of the night? But if I could ever get in there in the middle of the night for longer, then they run me out of there. I've tried, but I've tried to get in the middle of the night and go live just to do it. Right. Worst they can do is kick you out. So if I go in on Thursday, what are they going to do? Make me miss one day?
Yeah, that's a good question. I hadn't really thought of that. We've got a pretty distinguished track record of finding ourselves at various places around SHOT in hours that we're not supposed to be there, in places we're not supposed to be there.
That's fun, right? That's awesome. It's just see stuff, and it's just, I like it.
It is.
I did it intentionally once, and we did it accidentally a couple of times. And you don't do it intentionally. You just you open a door, you think it's a door, and you're like, uh-oh, I'm in a hall. And it's like the Matrix. Like, uh-oh, how did I get into this hallway? Like, this is all the restaurant stuff. Uh-oh, and you can't get back out the door you just came in. So now you're on an adventure trying to get yourself out of the restaurant.
Well, we're pretty intentional about it. So something we always do that I absolutely want to do this year is so we'll get in on Sunday. We'll be at the big range day Monday, Sunday night, or maybe Monday night. We will be at the Sands and now Caesars, seeing what we can get into. Generally just walking past security people like we're supposed to be there and exploring, because we want to get the lay of the land and
hold a Wi-Fi or something, like hold a box or something. Yeah, it always works. I've seen it work. I've heard that it works before.
Yeah. So really we aren't doing it to we've never, that I can think of, really done anything with it. Like, we haven't shot video, we haven't broadcast any live video, we haven't given away any spoilers for anything, we haven't touched anyone's stuff. It is purely getting the lay of the land and figuring out what's around.
That's exactly what we did in 10 is I had kind of had a thing. It didn't, whatever. So, you play games, you go to the thing. So after about 2010, we kind of figured we knew what was going on. So we started having some games, and I wanted to get in early, and it was Sands, the first year at Sands. And we, like you said, you try, and in 2009, we weren't able to. So in 10, we tried to, and we were able to. And yeah, just like you said, just to be able to get in there and get some bearings without all the people. And, there's really nothing to do. Here's a little spoiler alert. Everything opens up like 15 seconds before the show opens. Nobody's there. Right. They got to be there all day. They run in at the last minute, pull all the brochures out. They're setting up the first 15, 20 minutes of SHOT. Like, literally, it takes you 20 minutes to get to the other side of SHOT Show. So those people on the other side of SHOT Show could get there 20 minutes late and no one would know.
Yeah, well, this is a good plan. Be sure you look official, and no one, and it works, really. So I want to ask TJ and AJ. So think about this. We're going to talk about what you plan on doing, like, specifically. I want to hear what your personal goals are. Like, what do you want to get when SHOT's over and you look back and say, was this a success? Was it worth going? How are you going to judge that? What are the things that, and I want to know because I think it's generally interesting, but also because for me, often the first year I went by myself, it was all for me. The next 2 years, Jose Juan and TJ were chasing me as I was going meeting to meeting to meeting. I've worn
It
all
was
that
horrible.
out. Now I'm just like, I want to support you guys. And I'm sure I'll run across some interesting stuff as well. But I'm really there to support you guys. So which one of you wants to go first and talk about what are you looking for? What's going to make this a successful show for you?
I'd say for me, inspiration and innovation. When I was there, what was it, 2021? There's a lot to take in. And there's only a few items that I saw that's something new or that's something unique. And I'm looking for those specific items. I want to see what we can do for gear reviews for those items and how we can help the companies bring items that typically you'd never hear about or disappear overnight to light so that they have more of a chance to thrive in the open market.
Mm-hmm. And are you? That's a true story, by the way. Ghost Tactical. He says my cargo pants. It could also be in TJ's backpack.
Backpack.
Yeah. If I have backpack pizza, then I'm in good shape for SHOT Show.
Good day.
So, AJ, are you? So I think Pete said he's got multiple websites, multiple YouTubes that he kind of keeps separated. You have the Hummer Mods channel, you have Gear Report, you have a business that it's up to you whether you want to talk about that or not. I try not to put people on the spot, but do you have business goals while you're there as well? Are you purely going as media? Or are you kind of trying to knock two things out at once? What are you doing?
Yeah, with Cedar Mill Fine Firearms, we'll see what's available for market opportunities. We did a bit of that in 2 years ago, but a lot of the leads we got with Cedar Mill Fine Firearms never came to fruition. So that was a bit disappointing. If we can get some more activity on that this year, that would definitely be a win for us.
Yeah. So definitely be sure that when we're sitting around talking with all the different media folks, like I'm assuming we'll have breakfast in the press room like we always have, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I hope. If we don't, I'm in trouble. But be sure you share with everyone what kind of opportunities are interesting to you, and I'm sure you'll be surprised how many people make introductions and say, "Hey, did you see this? I saw this and I thought of you."
Yeah, no, the press room, I was surprised how friendly everybody was at the press room. It was a great place to communicate and network.
Yeah. So, what markets are you focusing on? Because and Pete kind of mentioned that there are some other things. There aren't a lot of people there covering backpacks, for example. I'm looking at backpacks. We cover backpacks and we cover backpacking backpacks and military backpacks and hunting backpacks and just because you want to look cool backpacks, we cover it all. So, but then the Humvee stuff, you've got the Humvee stuff. What markets are you looking to find cool products in?
Mostly in the optics is what we're targeting to begin with. When you go to SHOT Show, you never quite know what you'll find. And that's what I'm excited to explore, are those things that really don't fit in a niche or a category.
Yeah. So personally, I have tried to look for things that I think are different than what most other media there are looking for. If I'm the only media person that stops by a brand's booth wanting to talk about their backpacking products during all of SHOT Show, I consider that a success. And I'm hoping, and this hadn't always panned out, I'm hoping that they will be very receptive and eager to work with us. And, it'll be a great discussion. I've also had people, act like I was crazy. Like, what are you talking about? I'm just here to sell to dealers. We don't have someone here to talk to media. You put that camera away. What are you doing? That kind of thing. So I'm curious, Pete or AJ, as you've looked in other markets, have you run into any of that?
All I can say is when I was there last time, there was an awesome bipod for the black rifle market, which integrated into the rail system. It was sleek. It was virtually hidden. You'd never know it was there, but it was accessible if you needed to set up for a longer shot. And that's one product I noticed that I haven't been able to find since. I'm not sure what happened to the company, but I wish I spent more time there investigating what they sold.
And was that in the pop-up, or was it in the
It was on the floor. I can't remember where exactly. I wish I wish there wasn't so much going on in a short week.
So we have backpack fans out there. Look at that. And Ghost, I'll tell you, one of the fond memories I have from security guards looking at me sideways was when I accosted him at SHOT. I think it was the first year that we were there, and we'd met and said hi, and we didn't know each other that well. But every time we went by him, I'd try to steal his Ghost tactical patch off of his backpack. I just thought it was hilarious, and
that is a thing. That is a thing. So it's not necessarily welcome, but it is a thing. People do that, and some people, that's how they play tag. So to some people, it is a thing. Like, it's kind of like when you hold up your what am I trying to say? Like the OK sign below your waist or whatever it is. Somebody looks at it and you knock them in the shoulder. Some people are like, "Hey, I know that game," and other people are like, "Hey, how come you punched me in the shoulder?" Sort of like that with patches. If you put your patch out there, it's sort of fair game, because a lot of people assume you put your patch out there because they want you to grab it, because that's how you get your patch out there. And that's there's people that'll say, if you see my patch, grab it. And I've got 100 in my bag, and I'll just keep replacing it. So you're kind of putting yourself out there in a spot if you're putting your only patch out there. Like, definitely don't put a patch you appreciate on the back of your backpack, because that specific place on the back of your backpack, it's supposed to be like in an elevator in the crowds at SHOT, sort of like a take, the signs at the thing for the garage sale, take one. It's kind of like that. Take the phone number.
And that is something.
Give me a new Gear Report patch.
I mean, I've been there for wait a second. So how many times have I been to SHOT Show? 5 or 6 times? I don't remember.
Yeah.
And I had not. That's the first time I was really aware of people doing that on purpose. I mean, I say
it's a patch people thing.
People who have like 20 of the same patch on the back of their bag, and it's kind of obvious, like, take one. And
it's a patch person thing. And it's sometimes it's more of like a tag, you're it. I'm not giving it back until we trade. It can be, depending on how good of friends you are or what kind of person you are. But that's the danger, is that you get somebody who's like, oh, I thought we were playing. Like, no, that was my only patch. Give it back. Like, we're playing. You got to trade or something. Who knows?
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I'm learning. So,
but your question about if people are receptive to filming, that's been something that definitely in the past. I mean, I can tell you, I can go on and on, because, like I say, it's been something that we had to have waivers. We had to literally print waivers. We would bring a printer with us to print waivers, have to have them signed back until about 9. But for a long time too, people didn't know what the internet was, and the people that did were scared of airsoft type. Take high quality pictures, and it's going to be an airsoft product before I hit the market. And that was a concern until about 13, until YouTube caught up and people were like, oh, I know what you're going to do. You're going to show it to like my grandkids or whatever. So, so the reception has been less and less, like people understand it more. And one of the things I always say is, I started going with digital cameras in 5, and there was definitely most of the majority of photographers were using film and regular optics and, regular cameras. What do we call that? A lens camera. And like I say, waivers, and there was very few pictures, like us whipping out a camera. Luckily it was digital cameras, so they weren't used to it. They were used to, flashes and the regular cameras coming out. But anyway, so the nowadays you got a portion of an expensive real estate of that booth is a backstop so that they can have streaming live conversations with people who work out of their homes, right? Like, they don't expect you to be some kind of great, like media with credentials or something. That if you're in the show, you're in the show, and you're helping them, and they understand that, right? So what I've found, and I don't do a heck of a lot of booth reviews either, so I don't encounter a lot of resistance, just because I don't have a lot of odds, right? The people I do booth reviews with have been doing them for years, so it's a different situation. But the polymer 50 BMG, I collect 50 BMG, and they make a polymer case 50 BMG. 2 companies do, it's playing to the military. It saves weight in airplanes and stuff, right? Polymer instead of brass. It's cheaper probably. So they won't give me one. All I want is the case. A spent case is fine, right? A one that's got the projectile in it would be awesome, but I'm not asking for nothing extra, right? A spent case is all I want. And I'll show them my massive BMG collection, and like, look, you could be in this massive BMG collection. I'm a giant YouTube channel. Like every time I talk about this, they don't care. They got military contracts. They're not giving me these cartridges, and they won't go on video. They don't care because they got military contracts. They do not care.
Yeah.
So that's where it's frustrating, and they're aware, but they're basically opposed to it. And I don't know if Knight's Armament is still like that, but for years that was the holy grail. Like nobody could get videos or anything at Knight's because they did not care. They did not want video in there. I don't know if it's still like that anymore, but that's one I can remember being a holdout.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. TJ, what are your goals? What are you looking for?
I'm going to go like casually stroll around.
Yeah.
Try to take it all in. Now I'm going to do kind of what we did last year, hit the, or last time we were there, hit the little smaller booths and just try to actually glance at everything and see if it'll work and see if it'll, we can help the smaller brands out and just, touch base with contacts that we haven't seen in a couple of years, haven't talked to,
So I used to tell people when I was talking to people about going to SHOT Show with Gear Report, I think sometimes it was a hard pill to swallow when I said, I'm not paying for you. I will get you a ticket and you can come be a part of the team and follow our rules and, do things the way we do them. But I'm not paying for you because we don't have budget for that. And that's still the case now. But I remember telling people, we go on a shoestring budget. So think of it as $500 or $600, the investment to get to go to this massively cool event and do things that most people don't get to do.
Yeah.
If you can figure out how to get a gun to review, then basically and it's $500-$600 gun. Basically, you bought that gun and you got a free trip to Vegas out of it to go do all this cool SHOT Show stuff. That's kind of how I positioned it before. Yeah. Do you kind of look at SHOT? It is for all of you. Do you have any personal things like, I need to get X amount of product value, or I need to sign some sort of deals for something to get enough value to say, yes, this made sense for me to go? Or is I don't care.
I mean, ideally it would be great to get, at least a couple products to review to balance out the cost. But I mean, it's, a lot of it, how it is. A lot of it is making the contacts and, meeting new people and checking out new brands. And then if it goes through and you get some bonus, if not, you've still got that contact, you still stay in touch, and then maybe down the road they come out and say, hey, you ready to do something? You're like, yes, I am.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So if we leave the show and you don't have a bunch of product lined up so that you have $500, $600, $800 worth of product that is coming for review, you're okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just
as long
curious.
as long as I can check out a bunch of new brands and meet a bunch of new people, I'm excited. I like the networking end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we met with iScore. Didn't think anything would happen with that, and I think since then I've done 2 or 3 reviews for them. They've been an excellent company to work with.
Yeah. They've been a good company for years. I started working with them real early when Gear Report, because we initially did kayaks and hammock camping gear and other outdoor stuff. I mean, we did that for 5 years before we did any gun stuff at all. One of the early brands that we worked with was High Score. And Ted's been a really good partner there. And the interesting thing is after SHOT last time, he had said, yeah, anything you guys want to review, just let me know. So we already kind of had that in the works. But then when SHOT got canceled last year, he happened to call me right when we were both thinking about, well, SHOT just got canceled. What are we going to do? And we arranged quite a bit of product to get done because he had a ton of marketing budget because SHOT was canceled. So I think that kind of opportunity, you never know where it's going to come from. And that's one of the things I keep telling myself, um, because I've kind of moved out of doing gun reviews personally. I'll do a few here and there, but I was aggressively looking for guns to review 5 years ago. Now, not so much. I have other markets that I'm focusing on. So, keeping those relationships alive so that I can help set up other writers is really kind of where my goals are, I think, this year. I wandered way off track on that somehow. I'm not sure. TJ,
Well,
just looking in the firearms market, you're looking, handguns, AR type stuff, hunting stuff, tactical type stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Where are you
more
looking?
probably the AR handguns. Maybe something a little innovative, something different's coming out. Accessories, any kind of optics, muzzle brakes, triggers, any kind of cool technology, something different.
Yeah.
But I've got pieces, parts everywhere. So if I can, I can get a couple pieces, parts to do a build with and review some products, and that's, I'm good to go with that too.
Yeah. So my experience at SHOT has pretty persistently over the years been that I was trying to think through and put something close to a real number on it. I'm going to say 85-90% of discussions, meetings, whether they're scheduled or impromptu, um, end on a very positive note, feel like, oh yeah, we could help each other, and then nothing ever happens. And
Yep.
sometimes it just wasn't high enough on my priority list to get to it. Other times, I'm waiting. The brand said, oh, yeah, give me 2 weeks and then I'll reach out to you. And here's how we want to do it. And then nothing.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you guys are seeing. And if you have thoughts on, like, here's what I want to do different this year to see if I can't get a higher success ratio.
That's a tough call.
Yeah.
I mean, the success ratio is going to be dependent on, I guess, how we sell Gear Report is, helpful to them, and if they're actually willing to, put out the product.
Yeah.
Versus, like, oh well, because usually it's about I'd say a 10% return. As far as if we talk to
Maybe. Yeah, talk to 10 to get one of them that actually does something.
Right. Yeah, talk to 100, you get 10 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I definitely like to up the average of that, but I don't know.
So
we'll see. I mean, maybe everybody might be a little more gung ho now after having a year off, especially the brands that haven't been hitting the smaller shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending on, we don't know a number for media yet. If it's going to be more or less when it's media light, it's a different show than when it's media heavy, when it's saturated or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
My suggestion is think about it from their position. They paid quite a bit of money to have the booth, and what they've got is people that might buy their stuff, people that will buy their stuff, not enough of them, right? People that won't buy their stuff, and then there's people that want their free stuff. So, right? So if you come up and you are nothing but helpful, so if you come up and like, hey, what do you have? Okay, what's the coolest thing? Okay, let me walk away and take a picture of your coolest thing. See ya. And maybe get around back to them and say, hey, I took a picture of your coolest thing, remember? So can I have it? But that's a different conversation than, okay, I finally found you. I wish your booth was closer to the front. I know everything about this product. I have 4 questions. I've been on the forums, and our questions are blah, blah, blah. Are we going to be able to see this before this? I care so much that I'm asking questions you weren't even prepared for, possibly, or the questions that you were prepared for. I'm going to take a billion pictures, and they're going to be up tonight. You were the first booth I mentioned. You were the first booth today. You were the first booth I could get to after my boss told me I had to go to those other ones first, and I got the pictures up tonight. I came back tomorrow, and I made sure that I got those pictures up tonight, and I'm proud of the fact that I got my first pictures of your product up tonight. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people that come in and go, oh, I want to hang out and blah, 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 and enjoy the show, good luck. So do the owners of companies. But the people that are successful are working every moment, and they go home and they work all night. They go back and they follow up, and they're helping people. They're offering them help. They're going into a forum and they're like, what do you need pictures of? What are your questions? You don't have to come up with this. Facilitate. What do you need to know? They don't tell us what the gaskets are like or how much it weighs when you put this in it. They want to know this. So and so is the blah blah. You know what I'm saying? You guys, I don't have to keep explaining it. Do that. Follow up. Done. They're their go-to. Hey, we got a new thing coming. You're their go-to. Leave them a thing. Hey, I was with you, and now you're part of my tour. Here's my sticker. You were part of my coverage. Thank you for being part of my coverage. Here's my sticker. If you take an Instagram, I'll Instagram it right back. Can we Instagram right now? What do you, Twitter? What is your favorite thing? I'll use whatever your favorite thing is, and I'll amplify it. Oh, you don't use Instagram? I do. Can I amplify that for you? I can go on, but be that guy and not the guy who's like, hey, I took a picture of your stuff 2 weeks ago. Can I have that for free, or what's going on? The good one, not the lame one. You know, oh, I like all of your product line. Like, oh, the little floaty thing that's lame and everybody hates, but it's your passion, and you have to make all these other ones to handle the idiots that come by and only buy the garbage. I care about your passion, you know?
Yeah, that sounds like the approach that I took early on, wanting to hit lots of brands, have lots of those discussions, staying up all night. The first 2 years of shot for me, I probably averaged 2.5 hours of sleep a night because I was either talking to people or editing and publishing video. Um, and I basically got to the point, made a lot of interesting relationships and got brands willing to work with us. But man, it sucked the joy out of the process for me, I think, because I overdid it. So I've kind of swung the other direction. And I think I am what gets me excited about going is finding a brand that's got something interesting that I hadn't heard of before, that I think probably our audience may not have heard of, that they'll be excited about, and figuring out how to help that brand get the story out. And I've had a few brands where we've had some real success with that type of relationship, and I'm looking for a few more of those. But where I'm really debating is how much just kind of general coverage do we want to do? Like, I think a real low hanging fruit, easy one that AJ is pretty good at, I think, is getting a whole bunch of pictures and leaking them out over the course of the year. Just kind of schedule, so something new's going on. I got to figure out a way to schedule those so that it's not, 2,000 pictures I have to schedule individually. Um, but I think some photo essays, like we do predominantly longer form written reviews. It can be a paragraph at the top talking about here's where we were at SHOT Show, here's day one, and then just a big photo dump. And people can go in and look at all the different things we saw. I think that could be valuable, and not, that's something that I can put together in 30 minutes probably, instead of spending 2 hours editing and uploading and then sharing around everywhere. Yeah, I got to figure that out.
Yeah, we actually used an app called later.com, and it took a few hours. In fact, it may have taken up to 8 hours, but got everything scheduled out for, like you said, over the course of a year, and then that was it.
Yeah.
Sit back and enjoy the feed.
They give you 14 days to try it. Yeah, I may have to try that. So, what I should do is delegate that, I think. TJ's like our tech genius. Maybe I can assign that.
Yeah.
And,
I'll figure that
just
out in a
get
heartbeat.
done. Yeah.
I got that for you, man. I got you.
Do you got folks that aren't going? Because ideally you have your people at SHOT coordinating with or collaborating with folks that aren't.
Yeah. So, AJ, do you want to talk about the innovative new idea we're going to try this year?
Yeah, my wife will actually be coming along with me to SHOT Show this year, and hopefully we can get her set up to produce a lot of this content while we're at show and do a lot more active on-site stuff than we weren't really capable of doing previously.
Are you talking like media room, or
Yep. Yeah, she'll probably be in the media room the entire time. We'll see how it goes. She may join us on the SHOT Show floor. We'll just have to play it by ear.
bring in your own machine?
Yeah. Yep, we don't have anything fancy. We don't have any fancy camera gear, mostly laptops and cell phones. And a lot of data usage.
Yeah.
I'd like
Yeah.
to bring a typewriter, like an old real typewriter with paper, and go in the media room and be like,
Oh
Add
my
to the
God.
ambience.
maybe just set it there and see how many people even know what it is.
So the funny thing is, I think I notice these people and see them a little bit less each time because they're a dying breed. But I remember several of the old school print writers that seem like they had to kind of make a show out of establishing that they've been coming to SHOT forever and they're the old guard, and they can be a little boisterous and try to dominate things in the press room a little bit, and I have kind of that balance of on one hand kind of feeling sorry for them because their comfort zone eroded away from under them, and they're clinging to what's they're the last people who haven't given up on that yet. um but also, good on them that they've stuck around that long. But I can see some people like taking it seriously, like, oh my God, I almost brought my typewriter too. And we'd be like, really? All the new media people would be like, that really? Yeah.
We had a typewriter at our wedding. We used it for the signature book, the guest sign-in.
Interesting. Huh. Yeah. So yeah, Jen asked me right before I came up here to fire up the show. So are you excited about SHOT? I said, I am, but I'm not. So it's Thursday. I tested COVID positive last Friday, so it's been almost a week. And I'd been sick for a while before that. So I think I was already kind of on the down slope at that point. Um, oh, wow. On one of my patches. What? One of our patches. I got it. He made it to Amarillo, so he's on the way there. So anyhow, physically I'm not excited at all because SHOT Show is grueling, and um, Jose Juan before and TJ more recently have been pretty influential in kind of talking me off the cliff in terms of running myself ragged. But I told her I can't do that this year because I'm already not feeling awesome. I don't want to hit. Normally, SHOT Show, you run yourself into the ground, you end up sick before you leave anyway. I don't want to start out less than 100%. So I've got to just relax and get as well rested and ready to go as possible, and then not hurt myself in terms of running myself down too much. I'm going to have to pace myself more than normal, I think. So I'm not looking forward to that. And, the hectic nature of the show, I think I am kind of anxious to see what it is this year because I keep reading reports of brands and people bailing who just, yep, not going. So it could be a ghost town. It could be half a normal. It could feel like normal. Who knows? I think that will be interesting. But I got a note from from
Well, of the
Bill.
two people I described, though, in answering that one question, like, who do you think's not going? The person who's like, oh, I walk around and I don't get anything out of SHOT Show, or the person that's like, oh, I get I can't wait to be at SHOT Show. I'm going to make the most of it, right? Like, if anybody does
Yeah.
go, I think it's going to be those people.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And that's where I have to temper myself and kind of pace myself, because I get into that mode of this is 1 week and
Mm-hmm.
I have the time that we're here and that's it. And I have to get everything out of that time that's humanly possible. And I'm going to have to weigh that against, but I can't get myself sick. I need to be able to function still. I have to be a little bit more aggressive about that than normal. I don't understand how people go and treat it as like a social outing. I absolutely will never understand the people who are there a day or two and go home, or
Yeah.
brands that pack up early. I'm like, you just paid how much to be here and you packed up and went home early because you're tired. I'm like, you spent all that money, you know, whatever. They got to do what works for them, right? So I was going to mention, I don't know if TJ and AJ saw this, but I think I copied you on an email a couple days ago. Bill with the NSSF asked if anyone had an interest in getting a dual coverage pass, basically, or getting added to the list for the AIM Expo, which is it's the motorcycle industry trade show. It's like the motorcycle version of SHOT Show. And I said, yeah, actually, I know AJ had a motorcycle. I assume you probably still do.
I sold it last year, actually.
Yeah.
No,
So
right?
he called it the Media Swap with AIM Expo. And they have 15 badges available for SHOT Show Media. Because the shows overlap. The 19th through the 21st will also be the AIM Expo at the Las Vegas Convention Center. And I was telling my wife, I said, you know, I sold my motorcycle when we moved to this town 13 years ago or whatever. I was commuting to an area where someone was going to kill me. Like, it wasn't safe to ride a motorcycle in the commuter traffic. And I just, you know what, I got to get rid of it. I haven't had one since then. But we do have a kind of a travel moto vlogger that I've sponsored on some of his big trips and supplied some gear and got some content from him. So I'm going to look for some stuff there. One of the guys I went backpacking with last summer out in New Mexico works at a little motorcycle shop. He just told me right before the show, hey, we're getting in on Wednesday. We'll be there like Wednesday through Friday to be at a show. He's like, hey, when are you coming back? Because I'm going to be out there for a couple days. And it was like, I'm going to cover that show too. So I don't know. You guys think about if you want to spend much time at that other show. Personally, I think after being to SHOT a number of times, it'll be really interesting. I've never seen the Las Vegas Convention Center. I've never been to a motorcycle industry show. I like bikes. I think it'll be neat to go check it out, and I'll look for some gear for Marty, our moto vlogger, and I'll see if I can find my friend Brian Reese, who will be wandering around representing his motorcycle shop, and see if they have better parties than we do. That could be the real game changer. Is what kind of after hours stuff does the motorcycle industry do versus what the SHOT Show companies do?
Sounds like a good article.
It could, or like a documentary video series. I don't know.
There you go.
I think that could be interesting. And you guys think about how much time you want to spend. I figure I'll at least go spend a couple hours and check it out, just so I can have been there. I can post some pictures and show people that Gear Report is covering another market. And if you guys want to spend more time there, you're welcome to, as long as they come through with the passes. I threw our name in the hat, said, yeah, we'll take a couple. So we'll see. We'll see what they come through with in terms of if we get all the passes we ask for or what.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. Even though I sold my bike, I've been looking at buying a new one, so maybe I'll see what's available.
Yeah, my goal wasn't to like get you to spend money while you're out there. But if you do, that's up to you.
Hey, so it makes the economy work, right?
Yeah, and it's the beauty of having your better half there is I don't have to worry about, like, I legitimately do have to worry, like when Jose Juan was going with Gear Report, with TJ, if either of them get crazy and buy something big, I'm going to hear from their spouse. If your spouse is there, you're her problem. I don't have to worry about it.
No liability.
Yep, and I kind of like that. See, now I'm over here scrolling the Honda Motorcycle webpage to get a look at what do they even have these days.
When you talk about the convention center, the other convention center, the real one, that's a different convention center. It's lit. There's glass everywhere. So you said you've never been in it. It is a different experience. I can only imagine with like a car show, a motorcycle show, it would be even different because they're not in booths like we are with cars so much, or with guns and stuff so much.
Yeah,
it would be neat. But it's it feels open because there's light coming in, and you can that you're in a convention center and not in a shell of a concrete shell or whatever you call it. It seems like we're in a, I don't know, like a sports arena or something in the sands, right?
interesting. Yeah. So I'm actually looking forward to that, just as kind of a change of pace. And I have found that I've gotten pretty cynical about finding anything too terribly interesting at SHOT Show itself. So we'll see if any brands really surprised me, like, whoa, look at that. I wasn't expecting to see that. I hope so. That'd be awesome. Have you guys heard of any products that have kind of caught your ear and you're like, oh, I got to look for that. I got to see this while we're there.
Yeah, the smart guns. I got to see what their point is, what they think they're trying to prove, and if they understand the consequences or if they're intentionally doing it.
Smart guns, like to comply with states that have said they have to have the ability to shut off a firearm or limit who can use it.
No, to engage the what is that called? Like the end game, where if one exists, then all guns have to comply with that technology as soon as it exists. Sort of like microstamping. So it's a deadlock. As soon as it exists, states, there's like I don't know how many states can say, oh, no guns can ever be sold now until they have this technology that now exists.
Interesting.
So the people that would bring it to the market are suspect. Like, why would you bring that to the market?
Yeah.
At least with the current what do you call that? What do you call like that? Deadlock? I don't know what to call that when there's like a set of circumstances that get engaged by something like that. There's a word for that. I can't think of it.
Well, it's certainly a precedent that sounds dangerous. Sounds like you could have someone who is really happy with some new technology. Are you going to SHOT? Rich, come on, you got to get here on time, brother. Yes, we're going to SHOT. If you'll be there, let us know. We can get together and do something. Yeah, it makes you wonder how many people are tech heads who are like, I heard about this problem. I've come up with this elegant solution and it hasn't crossed their mind, or they just don't have an interest in what the political or legislative ramifications could be.
You also have to consider the financial opportunity if it is legislated. That's a huge motivator for some companies.
Oh yeah, if they're just ruthless, like, oh, if we create this, then they'll have to work with us. And especially if they're really novice and don't know the implications, like they just think it's like having blue paint on the outside. Like, oh, if we come up with the blue paint, they'll have to buy our paint.
Yeah.
And they're right at the front in the big law enforcement room. So I don't know if that's like they push their way in or if they happenstance to be right there, or, it's kind of not that I care about the thing, but I'm curious about why they chose and the circumstances.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
When you were talking goals before, I don't know if this is going off topic or backwards, but you were talking about goals before. My goal this year, because I try to do something, I like to do the same thing all the time, and I like to do stuff that's, has some significance, hopefully, can like do something or have some impact. So we look at it, there's 60,000. I think they said there's 48,000 people showing up this year. It's mostly gun shops. Back in Florida was because we drive when we go to Vegas. We're close enough to Vegas, we drive. So we go to the range day from the hotel. We drive. When we were in Florida, back when it traveled, we would get in a shuttle and go from the hotel to the range because we didn't know where the range was. We didn't have a rental car, all this. So that was an experience we didn't intend. We had planned a rental car in Florida, but it didn't pan out. So we ended up on the shuttle. And that, I don't know if you all have ever taken a hotel shuttle to the range day, but that's a certain amount of time in a bus with a bunch of gun shops, basically. Sometimes it's media, but it was mostly gun shops and stuff back then. And that was just neat to chat with gun shop owners. So that's what I'm trying to do this year, is just chat with gun shop owners. All those people walking around are mostly gun shop owners or maybe range operators and things like that. When I go on my tours, I'll stop by randomly whenever gun shops I come across, just kind of let random chance determine which shops I'm going to find. And sometimes I'll jump off the highway and take side roads, to have more opportunity to find a cool gun shop or something. And then, of course, if somebody recommends one, I'll usually check it out. So I'm hoping to talk to a couple of them, get sort of that, hey, here we are at SHOT Show talking to gun shop so-and-so, just get that kind of, what do you call that, plug for the podcast, and then have them on later in the year as like an interview. And there's so many new gun shop owners, and there's so many old ones that are still holding on, and then the variety. So I'm just hoping to have success this year, kind of turning the camera up at the sky and doing like a podcast audio type of thing with some of the gun shop owners and hear some different stories and some different reasons why they're gun shop, where they're gun shops, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think on I think a somewhat similar note, one of my goals is to get more brands engaged in this kind of live show discussion format, where either they come on this week at Gear Report and we talk about current articles, but then also talk about their brand and whatever they do, or just scheduling an interview just to talk about their brand. I think that is, as a publisher, that's fairly interesting to me. Anything that I can do that is live, that has minimal editing, where I create the broadcast and maybe a thumbnail to go with it, maybe a container page that has a paragraph or two about the brand, give us a little space to type something unique, but then just embed that live video. That seems to be a pretty good balance of time commitment versus the value and engagement we get from brands. So that's where I seem to be leaning, like more than getting product in my hands that I have to go do an exhaustive testing and review cycle on. I'd rather just have them on and talk about their stuff, personally. Lots of discussion about drinking out here. I'm with G-Webs, where I generally only drink when it's free. Sorry, TJ.
There's free beers.
I have no
like
budget.
Nacho, they'll give you beers, and people will come up and be like, "Oh, hey, let me buy you a beer." I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
But then I was saying I don't Uber. I have a vehicle, so it's not like I don't ever get drunk or anything. I'll drink a beer or something, and then I'm done.
Yeah. I yield my alcohol quota to TJ. That's good. I think he needs a few people to do that just to kind of keep things level.
I've taken some time off since I've been sick, so we'll see.
Yeah. I was supposed to start training, so I'd be ready for the SHOT Show drinking
no way
tour.
you're gonna do it now.
And
you can't catch up.
And that I'm on almost 2 weeks since I started feeling less than 100%, and I stopped my training during that 2 weeks, and now it's like, well, what's the point now? I'm not even going to bother. So it could get ugly.
when you talk about paying less attention to the items and more to the booths, for years we had pretty good relationships with the different manufacturers, because in the picture days you would just sit down with them, and we got to where we could sit there for maybe half an hour and basically take a picture of everything, and then we'd either be running a recorder or just listen to some of this, information. But they would go, this one is this one's this one's got a new blade, this one's got new metal. So it's pretty efficient, right? And so we had this relationship. So when we got into video, it was basically the same thing. We'd sit down maybe half an hour. We would do these little 3-minute videos, because we weren't trying to do the 7-minute, let's introduce ourselves, show off that we're at SHOT Show, talk to the person, and then get around to the 3 knives and then exit, all that. So we weren't taking a lot of their time. They would sometimes schedule, but often they'd be like, hey, come back in like 3 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever the thing was, and then we'll whip out your videos, right? So we had those kind of relationships. After that, though, after a few years of that was, you wanted something different. And that was not, we weren't the only ones with those kind of relationships. So other people were getting out their entire product line, right? So we would turn to, and this, I don't know if it was intentional. I think it was intentional because of some feedback we had on the forums back in the day, but we started to ask them about things like their metallurgy, or like, where do you get your designs from? So like you talk to somebody like Cricket or CRKT or whatever they're called, talk about designs, like they could tuck your ear off because they've got such an investment in their designers. Some companies will be like, I don't know, we make guns or make knives that are pointy, but other places,
Right.
That's their thing. And if you went around and asked, how much attention do you put into your sheaths? Is that something that, people are going to buy something custom Kydex? So you make it, so you could ask some question like that. That's a little bit alternative, and, just offer something different that, 1 year, or just ask those kind of questions while you're doing the other things, and then take all those questions and put them together as a additional type of coverage, so that it's not all just the gear type of, gear report, right? The report of what's new this year.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what I actually do.
And sometimes that can just be fun to do, because it's, as the person holding the camera, it's, it's a different experience, and then that can be more, interesting.
I would like to create a little bit more predictability with the audience at Gear Report, so we can get people coming back because they know what they're going to see. And unfortunately, my ADD gets in the way of that, and we end up doing something different every time. But at some point we'll find the right mix that for each time we go, and figure out where there is an opportunity to create some value, because I think that's what it's all about. Is you can't really milk the idea that, hey, I'm at SHOT Show for too much, because it's not 100 people exclusive. It's 1,800 or 2,500 people that get media passes. So it's not like you're the only one there. You've got to find something unique, add some value. Find some information that other people aren't reporting on, or you're just another number. So yeah, that's the nut that I think we're always trying to crack, is how to get the right information that's going to be valuable to our audience, and maybe expand us to bring in a bigger audience.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right, we've been going an hour, almost an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm going to say last call for questions and comments. Go ahead and get your thoughts out there. If you hadn't given TJ a thumbs up yet, what's wrong with you? Seriously.
Come on, people. Step up your game.
Yeah. Give me a thumbs down if you want to. I don't care. I can take it. I'm not going to speak for AJ. He can decide whether he'd like a thumbs up or thumbs down. I don't know.
Thumbs up for me. That's it.
What's weird to think about is that we were at SHOT, and 6 weeks later the world shut down, and it still hasn't really fully reopened yet, and there are still people aggressively arguing against letting things get even remotely back to normal.
Not down here.
Well, I know, and it's killing me. It is absolutely killing me, and that's one of the concerns that I really have about SHOT, is how it's going to play out. Because I keep hearing people talk about they're not going to pushed the mask mandates. They may have signs up, they may tell you when you walk in, but no one's going to actually make you wear it the whole time. I'm hearing other people saying some recent shows have taken that approach, and it pissed off some of the elite ruling class, and they are going to make everyone wear the mask the whole week. I mean, well, let's see how that plays out, because I'll tell you who's not going to wear the mask the whole week. And I think this is going to be one of those neat times where, I don't know about anyone else, I haven't gotten around the country, around people from different environments that much. I'm in an area that is kind of spotty. Some places around here, people are COVID Karens and mask Nazis, and they've got that stuff all the time. Other places, the people don't even own a mask. Like, why would I, it's been 2 years, I haven't worn one. Why would I start now? And then you get people coming from Florida that hasn't worn masks hardly at all, versus people who are from, maybe a big city where everyone wears them all the time. Like, you sleep in them, you wear them in your car by yourself. You have a shower mask that you wear. The mixing of people from those different environments could be really interesting as well.
It'll have to
We might get some cool.
all the people that are wearing. Oh, go ahead.
I'm good.
Okay, the people that are wearing it like habitually because they have to. They live somewhere where they can't deal without it, right? They just do it. They're going to be able to go and experience it without it. At least, even if they're horrible in the show for some reason, the rest of the world isn't going to be. Vegas doesn't care that much, so they're going to go experience it without that. Without that influence. And all the people that have, I'm one of those, we don't have that need here. Like, if you want to, you can, and maybe a third of the people in Arizona, so very old people do, but most of the time nobody does, and there's no signs or nothing anymore. So remember when we did have to, because of some issue, I don't know if there was ever really a law or if everyone just did, and it was just easier to be able to go to the store and not have everybody yell at you. But if you didn't, everybody just yelled at you. It's not like you could do anything. So anyway, some of us dealt with it, but didn't deal with it. And I'm not like, I didn't have to go to work and wear it type of thing. Some people did. Anyway, so all I got that is, so the people have never done it and they got to put it onto a piece. Somebody walk through a door, they'll at least see what it is if they do, or else they'll see what it's like to travel to Vegas and not go through the door if they're really going to be like that, and let them. I don't care if that's your commitment to not going through the door, then don't go through the door. I'll put on a mask and go through the door and be like, so what? I put on a mask to walk through a door. It's a lot different than something that is irreversible, right? But in any case, that's what's going to happen, is there's going to be that mix, right? That the consequence of that is people are going to come home being like, I can't believe I had to put on a thing to walk through a door. And because if you never go to California, you don't know what it's like to walk around without a pistol in your pocket. Trust me, if you've never been to a state where you have to walk around without a pistol in your pocket, it's weird. It's weird. So, if you got to put on something to walk through a door and you got to come home from that, you're going to have a commitment to letting those folks in states that have to, you're with them, you got a little bit of united. And those folks, I can't imagine, but those folks that live in places where they have to, they just comply because it's family or work or something, it's just easier for them to deal with it. Not, if they get to take it off once in a while and be around with folks that aren't going to give them grief about it, they get a respite, right? So it's pleasant for them, and it's maybe a necessary, like, hey, this is not, we don't get to just ignore what's happening to our brothers and sisters who are being screwed around, right? So I'm not saying it's great. I'm just saying there has to be a first step back from it, and I want to be there when the first step back from all this happens. And the 5th largest trade show in Vegas, the gun industry is getting together and saying, we're getting together. You feared us out of it last year, and we're pissed at NSSF for it. They guaranteed us we're doing it this year. We're doing it. And whatever comes out of it, we've seen how many concerts? There's no death coming out of concerts. These concerts where people are hanging out. There's no reason to believe anything weird's going to come out of this, other than the fact that we're going to come out of this and be the same as we always are. They're either going to be able to capitalize on it and we'll go, oh, they're better than us and they figured out a way to capitalize on it. Or we'll just come out of it and go, we do that every year when we come out of SHOT Show. It's no big deal. Move on with our lives. And maybe this is one of the things where firearms lead the way again, right? So I definitely want to be there and see all of that. Like you say, there's just so much stuff. Plus, they screwed around. For some reason, they decided, hey, everybody doesn't have the same booths anymore. Have you guys looked at the floor plans? There is not one booth in the same place as it was before. It is going to be crazy. Everybody who spent 12 years knowing where all their friends are and where all the people they do business are now looking at maps and trying to figure out how a phone thing works, and a phone app that's never had any stress because no one uses it is going to be used by everybody in the building. It's going to be, and you think SHOT is good at competent at keeping their tech up to date? Like, no, they're not. They're very behind the ball on that stuff. So it's going to be crazy. Think about all the Wi-Fi coverage that's going to be needed when everyone's using the app. Not just the app stress, but the Wi-Fi stress. But we figure there's going to be at least 200,000 Wi-Fi devices in that building. So anyway, they're used to that. But still, there's a lot of interesting stuff going to be happening next week.
But I suspect that with tight budgets and everything, that they haven't really. We'll see when we get there. I don't expect that they will have spent money to upgrade the Wi-Fi infrastructure.
No,
even
not
though
at all.
they really should have.
Maybe at the range. I hope at the media day they do.
Yeah,
they didn't have a Wi-Fi sponsored last time we looked, but we're hoping they still have the stuff just without a sponsorship name on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought whoever did it last time was doing it this time as well. I thought I saw a note about that.
Oh, okay. I just was looking at the thing. I went live and started looking around the map and the kind of looking at the media thing, and I just saw that they had a list of sponsors, and there was some of them that said open, like still need a sponsor. But they might not have updated their website in a while.
All right. All right. Final thoughts from anyone?
Rest up for 2 days. That's what we need.
Yeah. How much bail money are you taking this year?
SHOT Show.
Yeah,
I'm only getting better. I feel way better than I have. So I think by Sunday I should be ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Okay. For the Gear Report team, do we want to talk tomorrow? Like snag a few minutes? I know we're probably all. AJ's probably ahead of the game and has everything like packed and ready to go. I won't even think about packing until probably about midnight Saturday.
Yeah, it'd probably be worthwhile to do a sit rep. I don't have anything packed.
Okay.
I feel better now.
Yeah, let's try to figure something out. Oh, interesting. Right as I was about to hit the end podcast button, we have a little generic figure claiming to be Clover that has asked to join us.
Yo.
I'm waiting for some breaking, way across the country.
He just comes in, says, yo, logs back out again. Like, all right, sweet.
What breaking news do you want? You hear me okay?
Yeah, sort of. Little quiet. You still driving, or have you settled in for the night?
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah, cool. We appreciate you saying hi. I look forward to seeing you out there.
So y'all guys are shutting it down.
Yeah, sorry, you ran us off.
Yeah. I tend to do that.
No, you have any? What's your what's your big thing you want to talk about for SHOT this time? Like, what is it? Do you have a specific product or class of products or a goal, or is there anything different about this one that it's like, this is why I'm excited about going to SHOT this year?
Well, I'm excited just because the last few years I went, everything's kind of been static. It's been the same, right? Mm-hmm. And so just the time we're in and everything that's going on and the expansion of SHOT and companies not going, that sort of thing, just to be able to experience that, right? I was talking with G the other night. It's like, he remembers when it was moving around and doing all that kind of stuff, right? And so this is one of the things where what do you expect, right? It's like, it's going to be interesting to find out. product wise, shotguns have been really good to me in 2021. So definitely going to be, especially range day, going to be eyeballing more stuff over on that sporting shotgun side of things for sure, and then see what that leads to. Actually on the floor and looking at different things that can be done, not not necessarily just the shotguns themselves, but target throwers. There's different things that can be used and done with shotguns.
All right. Oh, someone has in the for you guys that are in the SHOT Show 2022 attendees group in Facebook, someone has published a SHOT Show party list. And it actually doesn't look like it has much of anything on it. But who knows? Maybe something will show up on that list. I'll keep an eye on it.
I think it's going to be. I think it's potentially a situation, the climate we're in, and Vegas, a lot of other things, Nevada, I should say. I think what we're going to see potentially is you'll get in a booth, and somebody will let you know at that point, hey, so and so's going on tonight, or tomorrow night, or Wednesday night, or Thursday night, or whatever it might be, right? There'll be more word of mouth just to keep it, the size potentially smaller, and not to broadcast to the world that, or the anti-gun world anyway, that, hey, we're having a big party up, get together in the midst of everything you think is going on, right? So from an optics standpoint, and just keeping it down to size with people that you want to show up, right? That could be something we're looking at. I'm not saying it is, but that could be.
I'm going to be interested to see if there are many people who have, like, instead of going and doing a party somewhere, they just have like a suite and they invite people up, that kind of thing.
Yeah, or like Sol Invictus had that one year.
Yeah.
Where we went to their Airbnb. Things like that. And something else like that. Oh, if I do, if I do hear of anything, I will definitely try to secure extra invites and that sort of thing as well.
That's appreciated. I think we've done a good job.
Or at least let you guys know to go to that booth, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, you may want to go by so and so booth. Just mention parties,
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Just take care of each other best we can.
Yep. Yeah, I think we've got a pretty good track record on all the media folks and even a few of the brand folks kind of taking care of each other in that respect.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Sure. I think it's about time to shut her down for the evening. So I'm going to go finish packing something up to ship out tomorrow and see what else I can get done before hitting the road. Y'all keep your fingers crossed for me. The weather forecast, I am flying out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and I just noticed on the weather yesterday, I saw some people posting stuff about, the snow's coming. And of course, when I pull up the weather map, the state of North Carolina, it's like the epicenter of where things are supposed to be dicey is pretty much over the airport that I'm flying out of. So I may tomorrow try to rebook to fly out of one of the other big airports here in North Carolina that is forecast to get a little bit lighter treatment from the winter weather. Or I may just get to the airport. The way the forecast is looking, it's just that last couple hours before the flight is where it's getting kind of tricky. I may just have to hit the road a few hours early, sleep in the car at the airport for a few hours instead of sleeping and then doing the 2-hour drive. I may just drive and then sleep for a few hours while the snow's coming down. assuming the planes will still get off the ground and get us there. But if y'all get there and I don't show up, more than likely that's what happened. Is winter
I'll be at the
weather
bar.
interfered? Yeah.
So,
Thank you for
sounds
letting
to
me
me
know
like
where to
Jeff
find you.
making excuses. That's all it
Yeah.
is.
As soon as I land, I'll be at the bar.
Yeah. Well, and you guys know that there was a good period of time where I was on the fence about even if I even wanted to go and deal with SHOT, and especially
a lot of people
if
decide
they are claiming they're going to have the mask mandate, and I don't want to deal with any of that. But you know, I'm kind of excited to get there. And
there's a lot of people that are not going, media wise, industry wise, across the board, and rightfully so. I mean, everybody's got to make those decisions. And they have their own reasons. But I've said from day one that if it happens, I'll do what I got to do, because what I said earlier, I want to see being away for an entire year extra. It's 2 years now in between.
Yeah.
And all of the expansion and everything else that's going on. It's just, I'm looking forward.
Should be
And I'm
interesting.
looking forward to seeing people. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
Or at least seeing their eyeballs, I guess.
All right. I'm going to figure out. No, I'm not going to tell you about that. I'm going to figure something out on the side, and I may have an idea on a creative way to torment you just a little bit throughout the show. We'll have to see. I don't know how motivated I am here.
Not very. We all know that.
Well, it's a true story. Yeah. All right, folks. I'm going to go ahead and shut her down. I'd like to thank our illustrious guest, Pete G-Webs. Thanks for showing up, sharing your wisdom, your background. You have a perspective that most people in the world just don't have when it comes to SHOT Shows. So thanks for sharing that with us here.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for giving me a chance to talk about it. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And speaking of a fan, I really do appreciate everything you do on the 2A side. So, that's one of my goals moving forward for this year is to partner with more brands and media people to advance causes, not just helping them sell products, but advance our cause. And I'm hoping we can find some ways to help each other some more in the coming year. Clover, thanks for joining us. Better late than never. I hope you have a safe trip out there, and we'll look forward to catching you in a couple days. We will try to have fun and be safe. Thank you. Rod, by the way, we need to get an introduction in place. I don't think you've met AJ yet. AJ, put your hand up. There we go. But I need to get an introduction in place for you, or you could send him a note at aj@Gear-Report.com. We make it real cryptic, so it's hard for people to find us. Anyhow, you guys can talk business on a couple different things probably. So if you don't find how to reach each other, let me know. I'll facilitate that. Thanks, AJ and TJ, for being here as always, especially for getting ready for SHOT Show. We'll follow up and talk offline tomorrow, round out any more details. And let's see, let me queue up our outro here. And you know what? We're probably not going to do a show next week. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. But at the same time, if we have an opportunity to, if we've got either cameras or phones and a sufficient connection and we can fire something up, who knows, it may happen. So if you're not at SHOT Show, keep an eye on your feed. Go ahead, be sure that on YouTube or Facebook, whatever media platform you like to follow us on, that you get the little notifications checked. Because if we do have an opportunity to go live and do something, we don't want you to miss it. We want you to be able to participate in that as it goes. So definitely, maybe we can pull something off like that while we're at SHOT next week. I doubt we'll have the regularly scheduled program, which means it'll probably be the next Thursday when we get back to the normal This Week at Gear Report schedule. We're approaching 100 episodes. So that's going to be about a month and a half from now if we stay on track. So everyone think of some cool ideas what we can do to celebrate that 100. Maybe that's something we work on at SHOT Show, is see if we can't put together a prize pack or something, do a giveaway, get some brands involved to maybe help celebrate us hitting 100 episodes and give away some stuff, promote some brands. So until next time, we'll see you at the range.